Oh my goodness, you should feel rather lucky today. I have a great video for you guys. Since we've essentially completed Master Duel, D20 in the Duelist Cup, and Diamond 1 on ladder, the only thing left to do is to conquer the real tournaments. We have signed up for our good friends at the Crush Cards. Hold on, let me pull up their channel for you guys. There they are, check them out. They're Brian and Logan. We love these two people here. Almost 50,000 subs. Oh my goodness, they have been grinding. They hold a best of one Master Duel tournament every Tuesday in their Discord server for all their subscribers, the Sub Squad as they would call them. I happen to be a part of those, gotta support the homies, and today I'm gonna be taking their OTS packs that they're offering. 5 OTS 20 packs on the line for this free tournament. I figured, you know what? Let me show up. Let me see if I can clean up. Multiple Chalice Line monthly winner Mount Fuji has also been participating weekly in these tournaments. They're pretty quick, man. It's a best of one, so it maybe takes like 2 hours at most for a 5-round tournament. Really laid back and just, you know, something to do. Taking my skills to the table, I decided to rework the Sprite deck just a tad. We decided to cut the Solemn Judgment and add in Nimble Beaver. I also added 1 copy of Dark Ruler No More to pair with Crossout Designator. Who knows, you know, it might come up. Maybe we'll be able to get the miracle where we stop, instead of with Solemn Judgment, Dark Ruler No More, we can just stop it with Crossout Designator. Extra deck has also been spruced up a bit. Never found myself really going into Appaloosa, so I traded it for a Dark. I don't have access code in here, which feels really bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'd still like to find a way to put it, but we ended up putting in Almirage, which makes a 1 Swap Frog draw where we just have Swap Frog, still full Sprite combo. This list is probably the most consistent it's been, just having the multiple good normal summon level 2s. I'm thinking about playing, why aren't we playing Deep Sea Diva? Is there really, oh, whoops. Is there really no benefit to play Diva? It does literally the exact same thing, but these are a tuner. And if I want to get real fancy, I could fit a space for Herald of Arclight. Whatever, we didn't play it. This is a Sprite list we ended up piloting for their best of one weekly Tuesday tournament, though. I got some replays to go over. Let's see how we did. Still trying to figure out the best way to show you guys these replays. I'm going to let this go play as long as I can. It's just the animations are so freaking long. Okay, so opening grip up against, looks like Spellbooks here. Guys, grip is not looking too great. He opened up full combo. If he was going first, it'd be all right, but even I still have Ash here. I think we're going first here. I am. So I start with normal summon Swap Frog, activate the effect. He decides to chain Ash Blossom here. Looking at the rest of the texture of his hand, I don't think you ever want to do this, right? Like, if I have any other 2, my turn is continuing here. The only way you ever stop this play here is Ash Blossom, and I literally have no other extender. Any other Sprite card, blue, jet, red, carrot, gets me full combo through your hand. And then you're kind of screwed, right? I guess it's fair to say, like, how much is 1 Ash going to do? But if I go into, like, an early Gigantic or something, you could really punish me by hitting me with the Ash Blossom there. Getting the Swap Frog in a rotation with Elf, though, is a little bit terrifying, too. I understand the play, but I think there's a better opportunity to be able to use that Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. So we end up going into basic Sprite stuff. Special Jet, get Gigantic, Gigantic effect. It's full combo because he ain't got nothing else. And look at this hand, bro. Easily at him. Go ahead and make Sprite Elf here. With Carrot, special to Swap Frog effect, dump Ronin Tonin. See, I'm just able to use it again in the combo, even though you Ash Blossom it. As long as I get back the Ronin Tonin at least 1 time, I've gotten the value out of my Swap Frog. Able to make IP Masquerena, and I use the Ronin Tonin here. This is typically an end board that I'm going to be making, and this is what I've been doing recently, is I'll end up pulling back another level 2 to have another level 2 to be able to tribute with Carrot during main phase priority. Because otherwise, if my opponent like activates a spell card that I'm not like a fan of, I have to tribute like IP Masquerena, and then I have to end up using the Elf to specifically revive the IP Masquerena. Not that that's a bad thing, but I'd rather use it for something else, right? So we end up summoning the Ronin Tonin. This is just strictly for food for Sprite Carrot if our opponent activates some sort of spell. Pass it to our opponent. And we maxi during the draw step, just, you know, rub salt in the wound. But let's see what our first action our opponent takes is. It is normal summon Blue Boy. So he normal summons Blue Boy, and I'm totally not threatened by this, right? I have Carrot to deal with potentially the secrets that he would search. And then I also have literally IP Masquerena into Avermax, which it doesn't stack up well against Fate, because Fate doesn't target. But I think Underworld Goddess actually is protected from this because you have to specifically target the card with it. And since Fate does not target, it doesn't work on Underworld Goddess. So our opponent goes into the Spellbook Magician of the Prophecy, activate the effect here. I'm assuming he's going to get, like, secrets. I decided to get red out of the graveyard here, so I have both negations now with Carrot and red. Our opponent searches Spellbook of Judgment. Hooray, that's a pretty good card. And then he reveals High Priestess of Prophecy here. And this is where I'm like, this is the top end of the Spellbook deck, right? He didn't go first, so his Judgment's not as potent if I can stop everything. Plus, I literally have the Ash Blossom to stop this Judgment from resolving. And from there, the deck doesn't do anything except activate Spellbook of Fate. And if you do that, I'm pretty much creaming him. He reveals for High Priestess and reveals the 3 other spellbooks in hand, so I know he has Secrets, Fate, Judgment. I know the whole texture of his hand. Great hand, but this is definitely the top end. This is going to be able to at least contest my board here. Important thing is, Blue Boy can't even stack up to Masquerena, so until he gets, like, Spellbook of Power, I really don't have to do anything. So I actually make the decision to, negate and destroy this with Sprite Red to put it in the bin here. Tributing the elf that we already got the value off of, not a big deal. Again, we already know the rest of his hand. None of the cards are going to target, so the targeting protection from elf isn't a big deal. He activates Judgment, hit him with the Ash Blossom, enjoy his spring. We're ready for literally anything else he does. He goes into the secrets that we also know about, and he pulls out Master. Master's going to reveal the fate. We're going to copy the secrets. He's going to pick back up the power. This is, like I said, like power's the only thing that's going to be able to contest this IP. So when he activates power on the Spellbook Magician, I feel really, really good where I can just activate IP here. He changed the fate, which is fine. He uses the banish 1 card we control, and I still have my Sprite Carrot. It's the last spell in his hand. I literally don't know the last monster in his hand, but it doesn't matter. He's gone through all of the Spellbook cards. This is the top end of it. Spellbook of Fate's the final thing this deck has, and its tricks up its sleeve here. We just negate that with Carrot, and then we're able to link all of these off into an Underworld Goddess. Take all those, we put him in the Underworld Goddess of the closed world. Probably didn't have to realistically do that, but I just wanted to remove his guy from the board, and then go to the end phase here. We have no follow-up, which is a little bit sad, but, I mean, it would be disastrous if our opponent drew another Spellbook with the Blue Boy, but lucky us, we do draw into Nimble Beaver, which is by far just the best normal summon. Slap that boy down, get the cooking, man, get the Beaver, that's GG. Even if he was go next turn here and summon Blue Boy, even with like the best draw of like Spellbook of Secrets, Imperm just contests it and we win the game here. I'll fast forward. Yeah, so pretty convincing win against Xeno with the Spellbooks. Big fan of the deck, but if you don't win the die roll, it is definitely a struggle to be able to stick anything. Sometimes you do stick the Jowg and you're like, I'm the greatest duelist known to man. All right, going into the next duel, we are 1-0. Spirits are looking high. We did win that coin flip lucky enough. Can we get lucky enough to win another one? All right, opening hand. This one is a little rough, right? I did win the coin flip, I believe. I'm going first here, but again, I only opened the Maxi and the blue. This is full combo if our opponent literally has nothing else, but I have to normal summon this Maxi, which feels super bad. We go standby phase in the main phase. As you can see, our opponent has Maxi here, and this is something I've been talking about before. If the rest of your hand has no other main phase activations, like no Ash Blossoms or Effect Veilers, you'd have to draw them specifically if your opponent takes the Maxi challenge. I always just activate the Maxi in the draw phase at that point. It plays around Triple Tactics talent, which is like huge still. As you can see, this is going to be integral into seeing the rest of his hand and seeing how far I can go with my combo, I think, here. We end up going to start with Summon Maxi, Special Blue, Activate Blue. Our opponent chains Maxi here. See, it would have been nice if he did it during the draw phase. It would have been an even worse situation. I can't just pass, right? Like, against a 60-card deck, I feel like I'm going to get slaughtered with the right hand, right? And his hand is extremely good. Let's point that out. So he ends up activating Maxi here. I'm like, all right, well, I have to commit something here, otherwise I lose. So we go blue into Jet, and then we go Special Jet. Jet's going to pick up starter from the deck. We give him Grass, looks greener off the top. You know, it's only fair out of a 60-card deck, right? I decide I want to go into Elf, and then I activate the Triple Tactics here at the very end of the combo to get a look. I'm able to at least see what I'm up against and like maybe pick out the best card, see what I have to prioritize my Infinite Impermanence on, and the starter, whatever to summon from deck to at least live a turn. We take a gander at the hand here, and of course, I think the obvious choice is Grass. Way too many cards in deck. He's going to be milling 20 with that if I just let it go. So we take a gander, and we do pick out that Grass looks greener. Shuffle it back into the deck, and then I set the starter so I don't give him another card. We'll just special this during his turn to make sure he doesn't get a draw from Maxi. Looking at the rest of the texture of the hand, I decided to go for red. He has a card like Kelbeck with Mudora, and he also has Ogre Dance. If he goes Ogre Dance into Zayamin, I think we're just going to flip the Infinite Impermanence here. Let's see what he starts with. He flips with a Mudora, and he just pitches another Mudora for cost. That's what he drew for turn. So it makes my elf pretty much worthless. I have to target anything, and he just Mudoras, puts it back. Not a big deal. The most value I was getting was follow-up from this elf, but it's fine. He summons the Mudora, and then he activates Ogre Dance to pull out Zayamin from the deck. This is going to eat up the Infinite Impermanence, for sure. So he activates, we flip it up. There's no level 7 synchros that the deck plays. He has like maybe a Link 2 like IP Masquerena at best if he wants to get these off the field. So I feel like that's just the best infip there. We're going to keep the red Destruction for something else. He goes card D, pitch the Kelbeck. We trade it for a Jet. Not too bad. He does get, he would get the Mill 5 if I don't activate red here, but I feel like he's going to be trying to digging for, like, interactions here. I know he has Foolish Burial still, which will get him into, like, Snow or a guaranteed another Mill, but I've got to stop this whole thing from going out of control. So I have to negate the Kelbeck. We tribute to the Jet. Make sure he doesn't mill the first 5 here. He'll get the next 5 if he sends this Foolish Burial here. So he does activate the Foolish, and he does send the Yugioh. So he is going to try to send 5 here. He's going for the Hail Mary. We end up milling pretty good cards off the top, I'm not going to lie. Our second red's out of the deck. Swap Frog, and then the Kitten's in the graveyard, which this is fine. The Kitten can stay. He ends up getting the Snow in the bin, and then a Dragon Hawk, and a Herald of Orange Light. Honestly, not really great mills for him. Snow in rotation is really, really good, but the rest of his hand sucks here. He doesn't have a way to be able to make a Chaos Creator, and as you can see, the first thing he does is he goes Snow for 7 for pretty much nothing, right? He can't kill me from this board state, and then he trades 1 and gets Left Arm Offering with no other cards to be able to use with it. We go Dugaris, the Timeless here. I'm not really worried about the Dugaris here, especially when he picks the effect that he's going to draw. I don't know. Both of these effects are already used, though. Yugioh, Kelbeck. Got Zayman out of the way, too. I really feel like he's out of gas for his turn. So he uses the Gar's effect to draw. Detach, draw 2. Ends up drawing another Grass Silk Screener. But I need to point out, look where he put it! He put it in the Imperm column. This Divine Herald really didn't matter too much that he drew this, but he ended up putting this in the Impermanence column. It's negated. I'm like, holy smokes, how did we do this? We are going to live another turn. We can actually win this game with any 2 off the top to pair with Jet. Any 2. So he ends up using Snow second time, banishing literally all the rest of interactions from his hand and graveyard. He only had 6 in the graveyard and 1 in the hand to banish. Puts out the Snow, links these 2 into Nightmare Phoenix for no effect. This is literally just to be able to out the board currently sitting in front of him. Phoenix over the red, and then Snow over the Elf. No problem. Like I said, any 2 off the top is going to win us the game here. He has no interaction, no other Snow activations he can even do. He's missing a full turn of drawing because of Dugaris. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet. Game on, baby. I draw for turn. What do I draw? Damn. That's not good enough, all right? So I just end up passing turn. I'm like, okay, this Jet, it doesn't get over either of these cards. But he does miss his draw phase. I'm not dead on board. We're looking clean, right? He attacks for another, like, 3,700, which is fine. And I'm like, okay, any 2 off the top, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. I draw. Oh, my God. I draw Effect Veiler. I'm not dead yet, right? I just set the Veiler and I set the Imperm. I'm like, if he overextends or does something stupid, I can potentially still, like, win this, right? I just need another 2. Set 2 pass. Our opponent goes, draws Herald of Orange Light for turn. Literally a dead card. He normal summons it. I'm like, oh, if he makes the read that that's a 0 defense monster, I lose. But he decides to get greedy and go for another Elf, which I'm like, great. I have another turn. We infinite impermanence this, and we see what he does when he goes to the battle phase here. Opponent decides to go battle phase, and then he actually makes a miscalculation. He attacks with Snow first into the Effect Veiler, rather than Elf. I guess he's trying to play around something that would have big defense. But I think, like, you'd have to, like, guess it's just, like, Ronin Totem. That's the only thing that you don't beat with Elf, right? You got a red out of the deck. Carrot's pretty big on its own, and Snow doesn't beat Carrot anyways. So he attacks with Snow, and then he attacks with Elf. The funny thing is this makes Starter off the top of the deck still a real card, because I can just pull the last Carrot from the deck, and that's only 1,000 life points off. I'd be down to 200, but that's all I need to do to win the game. So if he would have attacked with Elf first and then Snow, I'm at 2 little life for Starter off the top to be another card. But as you can probably tell, it doesn't matter. We end up losing this game because we draw into... Whoa, oh my God, Sprite Smashers. That doesn't beat this board here. I'm losing the next turn to the Sprite Elf. Scoop it up. It's really a shame because we had 3 full turns to see a level 2. Just any level 2, and that was able to win the game. And that's, of course, you got to mention, that's capitalized off of our opponent's mistake, activating the grass in the Imperm column. I think had he resolved the grass in the correct column, this would have been an entirely different story. That's 10 more cards in the mix. That easily puts me in a losing scenario if he mills second Snow, or that's even another activation off of Snow that I have to account for. So I guess we can't really complain. We probably weren't meant to win that one anyways. We did win the last 2 coin flips we have to bring up, which is pretty important for us. Our next opponent is against Josh Thrash here. Good looking guy against Sword Soul. Really good opening Sword Soul hand here, right? Ashuna and the Moye, Infinite Impermanence. He's got even Summit. I didn't even know he had this thing originally. And an Ash Blossom to back it all up. As good as it gets, I've got an Ash and a Maxi, which Maxi will put in a lot of work, but he does get met with the Ash Blossom here. I think you have to. In a best-of-1 scenario, especially, you just can't be letting Maxi resolve, because if you can't set up a board that does infinite negations or just straight floodgates your opponent, you might lose the game. Basic Sword Soul stuff here. We see a Shishao, and then we see a critical misplay from our opponent. Our opponent goes Chainlink 1, Moye, Chainlink 2, Shishao, right? Typically, when your opponent would go Chainlink 2, Shishao, you would think they'd have a card like Emergence or Long Yawn already, something that they probably didn't need this Shishao search at all, so they would just prioritize the draw here. But it's also important to maybe stack it so your Moye is Chainlink 2 and your Shishao is Chainlink 1. I always do it that way because I think Pack TCG ended up teaching me when I was first looking at this deck. You get the draw, and then you can determine after you draw and see what card you picked up off the top of the deck, which you need from your Xishao. You drew the blackout? Well, that's great, man. Just grab another Sword Soul card. Clearly, you need like Long Yawn or something to continue extending, right? But in this case scenario, putting the Xishao as Chain Link 2 puts it into this Ash Blossom here, which I actually take a solid minute to think about. I'm like, wow, this seems like a really weird chain stack here, considering you can make sure the Xishao resolves guaranteed. At this point, I'm like, well, if he already has Emergence, you know, I'm not going to be able to guaranteed stopping him from getting Baron to Flirt anyways. And if I didn't Ash this and he just grabbed Long Yawn straight up instead of Emergence, I was going to look real silly because that's a guaranteed way to make Baron. So I'm like, well, this is probably the best opportunity besides like Incredible Ecclesia. I'm going to get to activate this card. So we end up using the Ash Blossom on, I believe, what was the wrong chain stack here. Negating the Xishao. He ends up getting a draw from Moye. Let's see what that is. And it's a Protoss. But as you can see, that ended his turn, right? That's exactly what I thought it would do here. I was like, that seems like a really weird play to stack the Xishao. Had our opponent track Xishao as Chain Link 1, Moye Chain Link 2, I'm not going to Ash that. There's never a world that I Ash that. So if our opponent stacked this Xishao as Chain Link 1, grabbed Moye specifically, he could have pitched Ashna and pretty much set up the impenetrable board. But now he's in a rough spot. He has a Protoss that he can't even put on the field, not enough different attributes, and an Ashna that's never gotten its effect. The only interruption I had besides Maxi was Ash Blossom. And he beat the Maxi challenge just by ashing it. So I think you just play it safe from there, right? You just got to sequence correctly, and you could have definitely came out on top. For our opponent, though, passing it back to us with just this board doesn't seem too great, right? Like, I'm assuming this is blackout because he stacked the Xishao's Chain Link 2. Let's see what we get off the top. Oh, it's an Infinite Impermanence. Well, that just beats the negate off this Grandmaster Xishao anyways. I think with the rest of the hand, though, this Xishao negate, if I could bait it early, it didn't matter too much, right? But we end up just right away using the Infinite Impermanence to be able to deal with the Sword Soul Master Xishao. And we summon Swap Frog, activate the Frog to get Rodentonen, and then we activate the Frog to put it back in hand. I make this play because I'm still playing around Blackout. And I'm being really cautious of the Blackout. We put the Swap Frog back on the field here by pitching the Nimble Beaver, and then activate the Swap Frog to dump another Swap Frog, right? So if we summon this blue and our opponent activates the Blackout, we can summon back the Swap Frog and the jet that we searched with the blue, and we're still winning the game. That was my thought process here, and I think it was definitely the right play. I'm really happy with it. Our opponent ends up activating Infip on the second Swap Frog. I don't get this. Like the first game we played, we're just going to be able to get this back with Elf, and then Elf will be able to dump another Swap Frog anyways. And we already have Rodentonen. Like, why didn't you Infip the first Swap Frog? I felt like that would have been a better activation, right? Whatever. Our opponent Infips the second Swap Frog here. I'm not worried about it. We have the blue in hand. We're ready to win the game here. Special blue. Blue effect, pick up the jet. I'll fast forward a little bit here. We go Jet. We're going to pick up the starter from the deck here. And then we would overlay two of them into Elf. Elf effect is going to pull back that Swap Frog like I talked about. At this state, I'm thinking I'm going to go into a 3200 Gigantic with this Elf here to be able to get over this Xishao. I'm pretty sure I can put game on the board with a proper Cat Shark line. Go into the Gigantic, that's 3200. Activate the big guy here, get Kitten from the deck. I almost forgot I played Kitten, so we didn't really need the 32. But well, actually, I guess we could. This is a Cat Shark line. It's pretty much just easy peasy from there, right? Cat Shark. And then we go Cat Shark, double this guy up. We go Kitten, put this thing back. And then he just concedes there. Yeah, not too bad. This game was super, super good. I felt like this one really showed our opponent, if he would have played a little bit more efficiently, did the correct chain links, proper sequencing, could have been an entirely different game. But we ended up coming out with a victory for this one. No complaints. Remember, this is a 5-round tournament. Best of ones. We are now 2-1 going into round 4. Our opponent is Vilson Strato. And we end up winning this die roll again. We've been really lucky with the coin flips, actually. And our hands have been super solid, too. I feel like adding Beaver has been tremendous, really giving me the access to a great 2. And then you pair it with any Sprite, and you feel like you're instantly winning every game. We're up against Fluandrease here, a deck that I feel like even without Barrier Statue, with the right grip of cards, you could totally play second. Cards like Advent and stuff can just dodge like Effect Negation, like Valor and Impermanence, super easy. And then you can totally catch your opponent off guard when you hit him with a Mega Raiza. Once you've resolved one Mega Raiza, you've essentially won the game here. But as you can see, our opponent doesn't have any responses to our full Sprite combo here that we're committing. I'm just going to fast forward it. We're going to grab Smashers because we already have Starter out the deck. Realizing a lot of my play earlier on here too could have been super optimized to play under Elf for protection against like certain negations and stuff too. But it's something that I got a little bit lazy of. It really, I think, exemplifies in the very last match we play, which we'll go over a little bit more in depth. But as you can see, pretty solid opening Sprite board here. Elf, IP Masquerena, and then Gigantic Sprite. We're going to pair this with the carrot that we're going to special summon here. Carrot probably should have been in one of these protected zones here. Feels a little bad that I put this Gigantic here for some reason. But you definitely want to have it the opposite around where this is protected by effect negation. So if our opponent top decks Imperm or something like that, they can't just immediately single out the Carrot. But having Gigantic up is actually pretty good because it makes it so it can negate and destroy the card instead. And of course, Smashers and Veiler in the hand, I feel like this is unstoppable. We get our additional 2 out for the Carrot food like we were talking about before. Even though I already have the Gigantic, maybe this was a little bit misguided here, but it's fine. I'm not worried about it. Our opponent draws return into another Eaglin. That's a little bit unfortunate. He starts with Pot of Extravagance. And then somebody in my chat says I should probably negate this with Carrot. And I'm like, should I? Realistically, I think you always wait for your opponent to activate, like, the once per turn cards, right? Like, I feel like I'm losing to cards like Map and stuff. When he activates Extrav, I guess the only things that go through my head is, like, either it's a set 5 deck, which if my opponent goes Extrav and then set 5, I'm not getting the opportunity to activate this Carrot and maximize its value anyways. And if our opponent goes, you know, Flunder or something like that, this Carrot, the only best thing it's beating is the Map off the top, which maybe he's looking for. So I do end up actually activate the Carrot here to negate the Extrav. And it ends up being pretty good. The rest of his hand isn't that good to combat this. He goes Summon the Royal Eaglin. Beautiful card, by the way, man. Beautiful print. And then we effect Veiler. And speaking of cards that dodge, Enemy Controller was a super hot tech here. Again, if it was Advent Calendar, it also dodges the effect Veiler there. But Enemy Controller is also pretty sick here. Allows him to target a face-up monster. One of the only things he can target is actually, of course, the Sprite Elf. These are both protected. So he is going to target our Elf, but we're just going to go Chain Masquerena, Chain Elf, get our Elf to summon the Jet. And then we're going to go into Avermax, which I think is pretty much impossible for this to deal with besides with the continuous spell. Our opponent resolves, picks up M-Pen, and then for his additional normal summon, he gets Shri onto the board here. He decides to target a Ronin Totem, which is a little bit good, right? But then we get the Chain Jet, so we just get another starter for next turn. I'm feeling fine. This resolves, and then once this resolves, I'm like, okay, we'll see whatever he normal summons. And he doesn't normal summon anything. I feel like even with the Smashers, like even if he normal summoned another dude, right? As long as I can keep him off 2 or something like that, best case scenario, it's Rubina. We should be fine before he can stick like an M-Pen or something. He normal summons nothing, and I instantly know it's the end of the game there. So he sets 1 card, and I decide to just Smashers, get rid of it here. Because if it is Dreaming Town, he can summon at something else on our turn and maybe stick something. But now he's out of plays here. Literally out of plays. So we just draw for turn. Gigantic. It's just GG here. Our opponent might as well not even be playing the game anymore. Our opponent really had a good hand, though. I'm not going to lie. Enemy Controller in the grip. Eaglin's not even bad. We just had, I think, a better hand of cards here. We were able to craft a better board with what we had. Didn't even have to use the triple tactics talent. Again, just sticking a whole bunch of dudes on the board. Stopping everything. Imperm. I don't even Battle Fader. Whatever, we'll beat it. Attack for game. That's GG. We are now 3-1. Tournament Tuesday, man. Going into the final round.
I really hope I can watch
Hang
this
on,
game.
team. Hang on. We got.
He's calling.
All right, hang on.
Guys, I said don't go to table 3. What the hell?
Yo, this dude Gage does not stand a chance
Can you
against
guys, like,
the
not
champ.
play in table 3
The
so I can watch it?
throne has been returned to. I'm coming in hot. Gage, you best be ready, bro.
We were talking about Mount Fuji, multiple Chalice Line monthly winner playing in this tournament, right? And it wouldn't be a grand finale if we didn't play against him in the finals. We are top seed along with Mount Fuji. He is undefeated in this tournament, and we're playing against him. He's playing against some Orcus Pile deck, and I'm not going to lie, looking at his hand, it's a little unfortunate. He's got 2 negations, Infip, Maxi is really good, but opening Double Nightmare fucking sucks, and then I guess Zamin's a really good normal summon, right? But look at my hand, too. Outstanding openings the entire tournament here, and this one's none less. We won the coin flip, so let's see what we can start off with here. We go Nimble Beaver, activate the Beaver effect, and Fuji chains the Maxi, but it's a good thing we have the Call by the Grave to deal with it. Summon the Beaver from the deck, and then we summon Jet. Jet search out Smashers, because we already have the starter in hand. From here, I make a verbal call out. I say I can totally make it play with Elf to play under a card like Infinite Impermanence, because there's been a toggle or two that has happened on Fuji's side, and I could play around it. And I don't make that play at all, because I actually end up saying, you know what, I'm greedy and I'm stupid. I can make these plays anyways because I'm lucky enough to have the starter anyways, which is exactly what I do here. But I'll show you the correct play that I should have made. So I end up making the Gigantic Sprite, and we go Gigantic Sprite effect, and it gets, of course, met with Infinite Impermanence, right? Expected. Here's what I should have did. I should have took the Beavers, and I put them into Sprite Elf. From there, I can activate Starter, get blue from the deck, put it under the Elf, and make sure blue resolves. That can't be negated by Infinite Impermanence because it's under Elf. Then I can get like anything like red, carrot. I can even get carrot and actually play under the Infinite Impermanence by summoning the carrot to make sure when I make Gigantic Sprite, still underneath the Elf, by the way, that it resolves. But that's what I'm saying is like that would force Fuji to only be able to use this Infip on Elf, because Elf is protecting everything else. If he waits till he goes to his turn, he has infinite impermanence in his hand, which is great. But it only deals with Sprite Elf. And if I have a full board, and this would especially matter if I played something like Corrupt or Ibly still in the deck, ensuring this gigantic Sprite resolves is integral. For me in this scenario, I got super lucky with the hand, so it really doesn't matter if this resolves or not. I'm still realistically probably going to be able to activate this starter, get everything else that I need to set up a full board here, and then back to a Smasher's Infip. It's going to be hard for Fuji to out. But you got to be in the mentality of practicing like you play, especially myself here. I made that call out that I could make that play, and I didn't do it because I just got greedy, right? We could do better. We decided to chain starter here, pull it out the deck here. We're, of course, all through of Fuji's negations. This would have been a blue that would have been able to resolve, you know, without contention, and this Carrot could have stuck and beat Infip anyways. I see him against the 60-card deck, so Carrot's just instinctual to grab because, like, you know, that grass looks greener off the top is disastrous. Could easily lose the game off that one. So we're just going to pick up Carrot and we're going to summon it. After we are able to pull back a blue from the graveyard here, we'll go into an IP. We'll summon Carrot. Set the 2 past turn. I think this board could have been significantly better. I think we just could have played through that Infip and ended on something even better than this. I don't know. I feel like if I labbed it out a little bit more, maybe some guaranteed fallout for next turn. This isn't bad though. Don't get the wrong idea. For our first turn, through 2 cards already out of Fuji's hand, it's solid. Our Fuji draws for turn. What's he draw? I actually don't even know. Snow out of it. Again, not a card you really want to draw into. You want to definitely dump it off your many mill cards. He summons Zayamin. Immediately going to meet that with the infinite impermanence. Like I said, 60-card deck. I'm assuming he needs to get to Foxy Tune. He decides to go end of the main phase into the battle phase. I'm thinking if he has a triple tactics talent, he would just be able to take the elf or something like that or make some plays from there. And I just don't give him that. I don't give him the satisfaction, right? So I just let him go into battle phase. And as you can see, he ends it, goes into main phase 2. And then from there, he just goes in the end. I just completely forego Elf's effect here to beat triple tactics talent. Maybe it is the right call that I did it because I didn't need to get greedy and get the extra value. Our board here is good enough to beat literally Zayamin pass. Zayamin doesn't even beat IP. So Fuji passes it back to us. Looking at the rest of his hand and the board, we draw triple tactics. You can tell it's over, right? We just go for maximum value here, summon a couple dudes. It's good game against the Fujster. That's what you get for talking all that shit, Fuji. That's all I'm saying, bro. Put everything on the board here. Just kind of BMing him, summoning a whole bunch of stuff, make him feel bad. Battle phase to beat, like, Veiler. We activate Cat Shark in there. Didn't really matter. I played around way too much there. It was just easy game from then on out after negating the stuff and stopping everything from his hand. And that's it. We beat Fuji, who was 4-0 in the tournament run. Super solid. We had to ruin his night there, though. So that puts us... We win! We won Tournament Tuesday! I tried to keep this a secret for the whole video because it would ruin it. But yeah, look, this is our win streak here. These are some other replays that I have for a different video. But as you can see, solid run here. Even this loss that we had here was super winnable had we just drawn the right cards. As you can see, solid run. Nim on top. Fuji came in third, bro. Taste my dust. Super solid run, man. A lot of fun in this tournament. And that means we won! We were the only winners of the prize today, which was the 5 packs of OTS 20. And we had Crush Cards open it up on stream. We had to.
Before we go to London, our final Tourney Tuesday results are in first place, X1. We did not have any undefeateds tonight.
No undefeateds.
You should go
three?
3-2-1.
Top 3 is all X1. All 3 of top 3 is X1. So this really came down to tiebreakers, which is actually crazy. But
Third place.
in third place,
right.
we're going to do third place first and work our way up to first. In third place, we have the one and only, the shit-talking king himself, Mount Fuji.
Mr.
Fuji! Third place! Get shit on! Get dookied on!
Also X1, with possibly the most stunning comeback we just saw tonight on camera with Topologic Zero Boros, P-Rod!
P-Rod!
Hey!
That was impressive,
Nice.
Zero Boros.
Let's
That's
go,
nice.
P-Rod.
Who's first?
Fuji got third.
Who's first?
God damn.
And then, in
Oh.
first place, somehow getting the pair up in the final round and absolutely decimating the shit-talking Fuji is Gage!
Yeah,
Gage
let's
came
go,
in
baby!
One Tourney
Yeah,
Tuesday.
go eat some more barbecue,
Tuesday.
Fuji!
Come-
Deck. Obviously, prizing tonight is 5 packs of OTS 20. I
We're
will
rich.
open them on
We're
camera
rich,
for him,
chat.
but I am also going to send him 5 for his next episode of Sealed Only. Whenever that happens, I want him to be able to potentially pull in a Luber ulti and, you know, have some fun stuff to open, because it's, you don't really get a hold of like OTS packs very much, and I think it'd be good for a sealed episode if he ever wants to. So we'll do that for Gage. So make sure you watch Sealed
Did you want
Only.
to call him or no? This has to
Yeah,
count.
if we pull the Luber, it does count. All right, okay, here we go.
Oh, a
Oh, they're in the
Neko
front.
main
I
king.
forgot they're in the front. Well,
They're in
that
the front.
fucking sucks.
That's all right.
Well, you
We
got
got
Neko
Neko
main
main.
king. That's cool. I forgot they're in the front here. We got Neko main king. We got
Common
Dweller. Oh, sick card for this format. And then, oh, you got a
The
Ninja.
little Marauder.
What a cute
Why is that
little
card not
baby.
playable?
Oh my god, sorry.
I wish that
hang
card
on,
was
music isn't
playable. Looking for an ulti, chat. What are we
Alright, here we go.
looking for?
Okay.
Anything's good, I
Alright,
guess.
so
I need
move
raise.
them.
I need raise.
So now we won't know.
Nemesis, elephant.
Okay.
Disaster. Okay, let's go.
What?
Ninjutsu,
Ah,
art.
ninja.
Oh,
Notebook,
heckin' boy,
okay.
ninja
Lame.
card.
Let's go. We
Oh my
love
God,
to see
I-
the ninjas.
I wouldn't get your hopes up, Gage. This set felt bad.
They get every single ulti all the
Alright,
time.
here we go.
King of the Skull
All
Serpent.
right, King of the Swampy. I heckin' love
Swamp, you know what
tier.
I'm talking
Bam.
We got an elephant. And then we...
about. Morphotronic earphone.
Morphotronics, my favorite!
Morphotronics, woo!
Move it up
Oh,
there.
okay, upside down. Love it.
I heckin' love quality control here. I did not do that.
Okay, flipped
Yeah.
up. Elephant. Oh, another
see,
notebook.
Another notebook.
Remember what I said?
All right, last pack.
Jesus Christ.
Here we
all
go, here we go.
Ninjas. Oh
Elephant.
my god, guys, Oh my god, I hate this fucking elephant. Hut!
Oh!
Oh my god, I hate it here.
Scam.
Oh my god, alright, Gage, we'll send you 5 more.
Nothing good, but that's just about my luck, right? That's all I got for the video today. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I think this was a lot of fun. This whole tournament was fun to play. And I'm gonna be defending the title next time they play it too, because I gotta make sure I'm better than Fuji. This could definitely still use some work, but we'll move on to something else in the next video.